Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you all coming out tonight so much to the Cabaret Gallery. Hi there, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It's great to see everybody. And I got to wear my black dress with my black slit because I wanted to praise our feature this evening, Miss Janine Ravishloot. Give it up for Janine. Come on, come on. But then nobody gets to see that because I just walk up here and I've got this stand here. But I was doing this in homage to her. And I had no idea if I should read anything of mine or what to read. And I thought, well, I know when I had a birthday feature a couple of years back, somebody, I think it might have been somebody in this room, decided to read a poem in a voice like mine. And it was hysterical hearing them do that. So I thought I would take a poem of mine and try to read it like it was in the voice of Janine Ravishloot. This is a poem of mine, but we'll see how this kind of spin goes on with like a very extreme, sustained variation of looking for a worthy adversary. I've been looking for a worthy adversary, someone I can lock horns with, because though my life makes more sense when I'm alone, it's not nearly as interesting. Alone, it's not nearly as interesting, so I look for a worthy adversary, someone I can battle to the death with, because it can't be about love, you see. Love can't exist on the terms I demand. It's never that pure. What I demand is never that pure. As I'm looking for a worthy adversary, I slither up to you like a snake, and I tempt you with a golden apple. I tempt you with a golden apple, but all I was offering you was fruit from the tree of knowledge. This snake gives you the tree of knowledge because all this time I've been playing a part, an actress on a stage, spouting the lines on cue. But that role was tiresome. Those lights came on night after night, and I still had to play my part. I played my part until my night off, where I saw your show. Your protagonist was doing what I was doing, right down to faking it with those who don't matter, right down to going home and still feeling empty. I play my part. I still feel empty, but I like to see you're boiling underneath. No one else could see. I know what that emotion really means. When I know what that emotion really means, I wonder if we could get together and write our own play. If we wrote our own play, it would be a masterful performance. Curtains would close, we'd hold each other's hands and leave the stage, and the audience would know there's a happy ending. When I know there's a happy ending, I walk out onto the set, and there you stand, in front, stage left. I wait for my cue to make my move. None of the rest of the scene matters. If the rest of the scene doesn't really matter, I wonder if the audience would see what we have. Maybe they'd like our little play. Maybe they wouldn't. Who really cares? Who really cares? Because after I tempted you, you now tempt me and tease me and torment me and tell me everything I was afraid to believe. I was afraid to believe, and now you talk and reach your hand into my brain and pull out my thoughts and shove them into your mouth and spit them back at me. You spit my thoughts back at me again, and instead of filling me with terror, it fills me with joy. It fills me with joy because I thought I'd lock horns with that worthy adversary, but now every day is like Valentine's Day. It's like candy and flowers and springtime and hearts and cupids and sunshine, and those cliches are beginning to make sense. No longer locking horns and everything making sense. I stand here like a statue after the performance of our lifetime and wait for the reviews. As I wait for the reviews, I wonder what they'll say, though none of it matters. None of it matters because I know what you are going to say. It's everything that I've always wanted to say. All I've wanted to say is now you taking my thoughts again and shoving them into your mouth again and spitting them back at me again. So I will wait for you to come on stage again, where we have our happy ending, and you tell me what I already know. I went stylistically, like, kind of, I tried to do that, you look at the rhythmy thing and change the verses and everything. So I mean, it's not really an extreme sestina variation, but it's an extreme something. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I did that in honor of you, my love, and in honor of this man I haven't seen coming up here in forever. I'm calling it my first open record. Please give it up for Michael Hogg. Michael, get on up here, my love.
Thanks. All right, well, we'll do a chicken poem.
Yay!
That's the best. Follow me, follow a chicken. We'll circle a square acre and map our chicken journey just for us, because chickens are never lost and always find the ground. Where chicken everywhere is chicken now, and chicken here is just another chicken there. Count chickens, count backwards. We'll add like a chicken and check our chicken math just for us, because chickens always start with the full amount and count down to zero when everything is already counted and adding is really subtracting. Follow a chicken, follow me, and we'll take our chickens underwater and bring them meteorites from Mars and show them the dual craters on the moon and differentiate a binomial just for us, because chickens with their little eyes on either side of their head close to their ground will show us how an oat looks like a cloakia and a grain of cornmeal looks like a gold cube.
That's it.
You're gonna break my heart.
Sorry.
He never shows up and he says I'm just gonna do this one and then I'm gonna go late. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna cry. And he's working on having a feature, and it's going to be either in the end of September or beginning, not just September, November or beginning of December, because there's very, very few spots left, but it'll be awesome if you come up here. Because, as I was explaining to people, we are trying to pull a small collection book together of chosen writings that are from this open mic. Then by the end of the year, everybody who has a feature can choose one poem from their feature to be applied to the book. And if there happens to be nights where we have mini feature night, yes, every person who has a mini spot can have one, and that would be just really, really ultra groovy. And it would be really nice just to have the chosen few poems put together into a collection book, which I hope everyone would like and be the first time we'd have it in the... I'm all excited. Sorry, I can't help it. You couldn't tell that I was pleased on that one. So, ladies and gentlemen, well, I don't even want to get all too excited about the person that's coming up here, because I think the feature might get angry if I get too excited. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Tom Roby. Come on up here. And you can read more than one piece. I keep like...
All right, turn off my glasses. I can see you even worse.
That's better.
Okay, so here I am, dressed up for winter, just to give the old man some respect before he kicks off or gets kicked out. Actually, I have a poem here which I can read in the voice of Janine Ravensloot, but I think I'll read it instead in the voice of our beloved hostess. I have to say, I have to say, Janet, that the most you ever sounded like Janine was on those, when you and Janine were doing those joint poems together, dialogue poems, and you were reading the same poem in different voices. Yeah, you sounded more like her. She sounded more like you. It was just uncanny. But the thing is that this latest reading still had the signature. Not that that's a stutter, but and so here I have a rondo for a novice Romeo. I didn't know why your pace was so slow when I was your passionate Romeo, who at the concert had practically made love to you on the balcony, marked beats by barely on the pillow of your thigh until intermission, time to go. Past secret scents in autumn's park below my fretful bedroom where I would see I didn't know. Introductory pianissimo, passion's progress in the longing rondo, and why in the world I would have to be keeping time on rush between you and me, feeling two hands fuse, zephyrs, softest flow, I didn't know. Okay. I a bit of hyperbole in there. No, you, and actually the sestina was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, and okay, so I'll get off that now. Here's a short one. Love stains clean sheets. I'll give that one to you again in case you missed it. Love stains clean sheets. Now here's a pleasant rondo. Maybe I can get Janine's voice in this. No, I have one more after that, and then I'll try Janine on that one. Here's one in my so-called voice. A pleasant rondo. My pleasure is to pleasure you, so I can feel you through and through, since this is surely one good measure of what it is in you I treasure, which makes me take off every glove to touch your moistened silken love, cocked below and tongued above, sliding every port at leisure. My pleasure is to glide your pleasure. But since I cannot tunnel through, you'll never find me through with you when love is very hard to capture, morphing into torture. Failure, do for me what I do for you. My pleasure is to pleasure you. Okay, let's see, here's Shadow Dome. I'll try to do Janine. Shadow Dome. Come, do come to my underground garden. Its blue shades that hug knowing moles. Leave behind great garden spiders, mummified bees. Ride saddled slugs to delight our cortege that crawls and slithers on its multipede fur. Glide into milk-warm cavern pools. Sink with me, alien to whales of strange trysts in that bright domain of the dying. Come, most beloved, come. No need of eyes or arms now that we are consecrated as one. Garlands crown us, king, queen, in our dark rest from lust. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know,
I understand the thing with being breathy because I shouldn't. This thing really echoes. I can't get really close to the mic, but I do know that I like hearing my voice if I'm going to say something. Because I'd like to be able to hear the voice, but I think you were just overplaying that.
That's the whole idea, Janet.
Thank you for overplaying it, Mr. Man. Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, from one publisher to the next, I would really like to hear the words of a Senor Dave Gatchek. Come on up here, Dave!
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you, darling.
So when are you leaving your husband?
Well, he's going out of town next week.
Really? Okay. I'll call you. I'm wearing my father's watch. It doesn't fit me very well, and it's not quite my style, but it's my father's watch. It always seems to run a bit too fast for me. I can't seem to catch up. It would be strange if I ever were to take it off. The color of my skin with a silver white ring around my wrist, as fresh as the day I was born. Sometimes it's heavy, so heavy that it draws down my arms, draws down both my arms, so I can no longer fight against what it wants me to do. You see, it's my father's watch, and I don't as much wear it on me as it wears on me. It's my father's watch.
What time was that?
What?
What time was that?
I don't know. I don't wear his watch anymore. I should.
What?
Yeah, it stopped. But he hasn't stopped yet. He's still going.
Yeah.
He's still going. Jim, I'm glad you're here. This is Jim Red. He's a old-time poet from the Chicago area, and he used to run a couple different readings, and I want to do a poem for you. Because the rest of you have heard it already, but I want to do crosses for Jim. Is that okay?
Yay!
It's
a good poem.
Because you haven't heard it for years. In the desert Southwest, they use small white crosses by the roadside to mark the spot of a tragic death, a traffic accident, or someone who died of exposure. I'm sure driver education teachers scowl and point to the side of the road saying, "Remember the crosses. Here in the Midwest, we are less sentimental. The holes in our guardrails are repaired nearly overnight." There's an old woman at the Cactus Bar and Grill. She inhales deeply on her schnapps. Her life is lonely and sad. She picks up her purse, slinging it over her shoulder like it was the cross of Jesus Christ himself. She walks stiff-legged to the door, and her life is so tragic that little white crosses appear everywhere she goes, following her home and springing up like needles on the floor that she paces at night. Across that sad, dry country, there is so much misery that the very earth of the desert moans, creating a resonance on every roadside, which says a signal across the rest of the nation which says, "Remember the crosses," making crosses appear throughout the land, like mushrooms on your lawn. Bare one day, there the next. Everywhere there is a hint of tragedy, a little white cross springs from the earth, like Arlington National Cemetery gone mad. I look and I find myself surrounded by a sea of many crosses and names, dates, places, all familiar to me. Echoing in my head, there is one phrase, "Remember the crosses." Although I close my eyes and ears, I hear, "Remember the crosses." And before me, a shady and indistinct cross appears with my name and my date of birth written on it, waiting for me. I want to run away. I want to make this magical vision that allows me to see all the pain and suffering in the world fade away. You see, I've always wanted to make some place where people could come and hang their crosses by the door, a place where sadness and tragedy cannot penetrate. But this is something that I cannot do, for I was born in the Midwest, and in the Midwest we are less sentimental. Jim, that was the last poem that I read at the word salad last reading.
Really?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
I do remember that.
My dog has learned to play the saxophone. It happened when I was not at home. He plays it morning, noon, and night. It's really a peculiar sight. He likes to make those high notes howl. He likes to make those low notes growl. Now it's okay. I would not mind. But he's out of tune about half the time. But this makes my teeth to clench. The cat is on the piano bench. If you think you can't decide to have it baked or have it fried, I guess it's because you never tried to eat something with worms inside. You know, I cannot tell by sight because usually it looks all right, but you wouldn't take a second bite and give your mouth an awful fright. For if you bite into a worm deep into its ectoderm, you'll find that it's not really firm and then it will begin to squirm and yuck. So make a choice and don't be late about what you want out on your plate. If you take too long to debate, you may find you are eating bait. Thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, before I call the fourth person up this evening, I thought I would read a prose piece and a poem, really, really short ones, from the After the Apocalypse Poetry Date Book 2013, because I'm just trying to get little blurbs from everybody in there and get as many little video clips as possible. And I'm going to first read a piece called, and I should be not so close, I'm echoing loudly, called Hemingway by Chad Grant. Autumn wove furious looms of blistering heat upon Los Angeles. The days were too unbearable for sweaters, and I was down and out as autumn pulled the wool over my eyes. Work went to the beautiful and was very hard to come by. So were the women. My girlfriend of a year left me high and dry, but so are the perils of being a young adult. Our relationship was fickle, not serious, simple sex, a loft, a terrier in the heart and heat in the city. Somehow I managed to scrape by. Hemingway, our dog, was in heat, humping at anything he could find. We were both at a loss, weary, destroyed but not defeated, losing the rat race of youth, love, and the opposite sex. The days gradually cooled and winter rolled around. I managed to spot a gig at a bookstore, sparking up a conversation with a coworker reading Hemingway, but it was to no avail. A modern-day Jake Barnes humping the system with a minimum wage job on a rainy afternoon day. Thank you, Chad. And no applause. Thank you. Thank you, Chad. And I'm going to do one more. And let me see, what day should I pick? And I will pick, well, I'll pick March 1st and 2nd because that one has 2 days only. But this is a really short one by Riley Keane called Pushed. You rode in the elevator with me until the top. You then pushed me off, watching as I drop, laughing at me. I hit the ground hard, but you didn't feel a thing. Riley, thank you. You might get a few more at the end of the night, but number 4 on my list, as always, and so honored that he's here. It means he didn't have a woman to take to an airport. Please give it up for a new man of Newark, Charlie Newman. Yeah!
Hello.
Hello.
He is right here.
Oh, I know.
I don't need no microphone.
Okay.
Charm without curves from soul, a ton of hell navigated inside images of dust, as eternally precise as Philip Glass. Underground screams jump, a bitter sweep of delicate paper fingertips just under the surface of things. Holocaust dirt path, snail, inchworm, thumbnail, this curve of blind winter misstep. In night trolley windows where nothing drifts, stand here, darken eyes. I know about you, about allure without desire. Remember, I wake up one morning hungover, skin scattered, life missing. in line for payback. I like as I do, no excuses offered or accepted. Dissipation is another story entirely. Corpse talk, a smog of imitations, of inspired Wall Street dreams, of molecules, of Elvis as dead, as idiot valor, reverence displayed in swollen cheeks, posed unseen by nobody I listen to anymore. Truth gives out, bullshit begins, another rotten mob burns locals, swamps their bones, then falls away, seeking anatomy in every edge, every air kiss, every promise, every threat, every gnawing soul wrapped in faces of reality, a hail of garbage, murmuring of leaving everything unmoved. I chatter, twisting myself over and over about nothing I can name. Not that anyone will care if everybody sees through you. Everyone has changed, allowing everybody to become nobody, no bode, no bone. No one leaves the soiree early in the rain like Fred Astaire on Ginger Rogers' very last nerve. Above the flesh, hiding inside ourselves, swallowing our skills, my buttons fail and lie, and I do not know what will make my heart new, dark, fire, old enough to die, to be close, to be naked enough to make me kill myself until some small thing disappears. Nothing on my mind but bleak love of the weeping cash register, illumination in motionless world of what might be left to history, and memories of souls and iron dreams, twisted on a new bit of reality mumbo-jumbo, wordless margins, scraping time, formaldehyde praise. Not that anyone will care if no one sees through you. Everybody sees under the surface of the mirror of everyday words, but no one, no bone, no bode, nobody ever cares. Inhibitions, inspirations, intoxications, increases in this abundance of blinking perspiration no one wants, without a tangible memory misleading their bitter piece of the shadow. Thanks.
You rushed off the stage. You rushed us off the stage, and I can't appropriately applaud. You're so awesome. Oh, and I didn't even get to tell the next guy up that he was, I'm looking at you, my love. The next guy up that he was going to be next, so please, ladies and gentlemen, don't get confused by the name. Give it up for Mr. Paul Ryan.
I didn't see you there, Paul. I'm sorry.
Hey, Dave. Jim Red, I remember you, the 90s, were all over Bucktown.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Remember Word Salad?
Weird Salad, yeah. Remember Yo Mamas? We were at BZ together.
Yo Mamas.
What's that?
He used to do the reading on Yo Mamas.
Yeah, with Joe Rorty and
Oh, yeah.
Crazy Pederast, Jeffrey Ross.
Criminal Jameson?
What's that?
JJ.
Grimsel, yeah, right, yeah, he was around, yeah. He's not around anymore.
He ain't around anymore, baby.
That's right. Good to see you, Jim.
Good to see you.
All right. John Beff is a college professor. Isabel's my daughter. And the bug is the bug. Mantis bent, his universe stuck on a stick, his purview the horizon of a beetle's back. John Baffa calls Belle and I over and says to come see this. And we run to his fence, painted yellow this spring, and smiling he pulls up a stick and he says, look, a praying mantis. And he turns the stick around between his first finger and his thumb as the mantis on it is trying his best to look like another stick. There are so many times where it picked to be amazed at. The mantis stood still, not knowing what to do. Death wants his tax. This is the other Paul Ryan. Death wants his tax. Something tonight you'll forget. Not you yet. Something small but with meaning. A slice of sky from the car window wrapped in white butcher's paper. Death puts it in his freezer to grill later with artichokes and onions. Remember to give Death something. Death has a freezer in the basement, one in the garage, and one his wife doesn't know about. Things happen fast. Death's wife waits and you'd be surprised what he doesn't say. How was your day, she asks. Then how much in love is Death? She strips him to his underwear and puts his clothes to wash. She hits the drum of him every time when he's not looking. Baby, close your eyes, she says. Yes, he says. You gotta produce some ending, some edging, something we're gonna fall off of, something we don't know what's coming, something lemming, something all of a sudden we're flying and down we fall, a bunch of us, surprised we're off the cliff falling. You gotta produce that. No, the killing's easy. That's just numbers and money. You gotta make them wanna jump. Yeah, you. Are you ready for this? Your mommy and your daddy, your sweetheart and your baby, and you'll listen to them coo. And you're gonna listen to them. And then you gotta tell them, when they're almost over, that only a poet will listen to them scream falling. And ain't that funny, you tell your boss? A fucking poet.
Thank you. I'm looking at my watch here, and because this is such an awesome mic, I can't get close to it, and I'm very confused. And oh my gosh, it's so early that I'm gonna have to read more things from the After the Apocalypse Day book, which also is in an annual poetry collection book, but that one has more than just this. But this I get to have everything from every week on it. So I thought I'd read stuff that is just, coming up right now for this time in March, and I would read short ones, including a piece by Cheryl L. Nelms called A West Texas Thunderstorm. A West Texas thunderstorm grumbles through the woodwork, rattles my stability. Okay. Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah. This is why I've got very short ones in this, for fitting a different, and perfect for appearing on the same page is a piece called Skull and Bone Salad from Mark Breckenridge. Skull and Bone Salad, all dressed up down at Ritzville, welcomes aristocracy to the party of judgment. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. I know. I'll get one that's a little bit longer, one that has the whole page to itself. This is a piece by Jeffrey Park in this week, March 10th to 16th, and it says, Gallery, Janine Rabbit's on my little date book. This is a poem by Jeffrey Park called He Lies in the Tub. He lies in the tub, in the cold bathtub in his underwear, looking up at the shower head that drips down every 6th or 7th second. A drop smelling of chlorine rolling down his ribs. The safety bar there above the old and the infirm, hopelessly out of reach. And the shower head so impossibly remote and so unbearably unrelenting that a tear smelling of chlorine leaks from his eye and falls upward, a sight that makes him giggle and squirm and imagine himself sliding down the drain like someone's humorously skinny mother. Jeffrey Park, thank you. Thank you.
Weird ending.
I know, but I get all sorts of weird things for the poetry stuff that I do, so. And because we're early and stuff, we're going to have a little bit of call out. If he's up for it, are you up for it, Jim, my love? Would you like to do this piece, or would you like to wait a bit, or shall we call up other people? You ready, my love?
I'm ready.
Oh, give it up for Jim. Come on up here, darling.
Okay, thanks. I was waiting for, I have a friend that was going to come and play the guitar for one of my poems, but he's not here, so I'll go ahead without him. But yeah, thanks, Dave. I remember the days on Milwaukee Avenue, and you had your venue, and I had a word salad. What was the Pontiac Cafe?
I want to say to you, I've learned this because they're telling me this mic has a real boom to it, so you don't have to be really that
Too
close.
close.
I know, I always want to eat the mic, which you don't have to.
Okay, but since then, I moved to Ecuador. I have a hotel, an art gallery, and a restaurant and a brew pub in Ecuador. And I happen to have a book for sale called Stray Dogs of Ecuador.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody's interested. Got another book called One Way of Looking at the World. One is serious and one is sort of a joke. I'm not sure which is which. But anyway, I'll do a few. But maybe my musician comes in and I'll do the Delta Sun thing. But here, I'll do the, speaking of dogs, here's a dog poem. Close your eyes and visualize this. It's late afternoon. I'm standing between the abandoned tracks. They pierce the distance like silver needles, and where they meet a cinder speck appears against the yellow sky. Black dog, running, loping toward me, tie to tie between the tracks. Nearing, a shadow rippling like a curtain along the trackside weeds, looming toward me. Black dog, loping, tie to tie between the tracks. Moving nearer, in the marble mirrors of his eyes, the rails recede side by side. Black dog, running down the tracks. Black dog.
Yeah.
This one's for Dave. I think this, he said, the poem he read was the last one he read at my venue. I think this one is the last one I read at his venue. And he told me it wasn't one of his favorite poems. Remember that, Dave? I've been holding that grudge all these years. And now you've got to hear it again.
I'm going to change my opinion.
Okay? Hold on. It's about it's called the All-Day Tire Shop. Remember that, Dave?
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, get ready.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
Again.
Hold on.
Those were the days, my
Those were
friend.
the days.
They never end.
Hold on. All-Day Tire Shop.
didn't.
Okay, Dave. The All-Day Tire Shop. At the All-Day Tire Shop on Division Street in Walcott, we ain't talking big rubber here. This ain't Goodyear. We're talking trickle-down tires. A step ahead of sandal treads. The All-Day Tire Shop. This ain't your factory-authorized service center with fully equipped entry bays and a new tire showroom with plexiglass tire cutaways through the 14 layers of polysynthetics and steel mesh with no real tires inside. At the All-Day Tire Shop, what you see is what they got. And I walked in one day, and what I saw was tires. Tires in racks. Tires in stacks. Tires in front. Tires in back. Tires in whatever they could put them in. There was even a tire in the shop sign where the O should have been at the All-Day Tire Shop. That about takes care of the inventory. Unless you want to count the spin-off trade in hubcaps hanging like wind chimes, you can take your pick, as long as you don't want more than one of the same kind. They got a compressed air tire machine and a curbside jack for fixed assets, and a tired old dog for a tire shop pet at the All-Day Tire Shop. Now, Manuel works inside. Jose does the curbside work. Manuel calls Jose his right-hand man, because that's all he's got. He's jacking him up with his one good hand. It happened this way to unfortunate Jose. About this time last year, Jose was doing a right rear on a black caddy at the curb. Chassis jacked up high like the tire shop dog pissing on a fire plug. Jose was reaching underneath for a lug. The car ahead backed up. It was a light but untimely bumper tap. Enough of a nudge to tip a ton of Cadillac off the top of that jack, and sad to say, left curb man Jose with one less hand. I tell Manuel my wheel size. He rolls out a tire of unknown descent. This tire's a mongrel like the tire shop dog sniffing my scent while I inspect the merchandise. This tire is white chalk X'd and O'd over like a rubber tic-tac-toe board. But I said to myself, what the hell? Nothing else in my life is blemish-free. Why should my tire be? I'll take it, I said. You keep your plastic in your pocket at the all-day tire shop. Don't expect no 3-page warranty contract, because the only paperwork between you and that tire on the rack is a $10 bill. And I laid one on the counter for Manuel. About this time, Jose, the curb man, rolls in my old wheel, using that stump like a hockey stick. Manuel throws that tire on the tire machine like a ring toss ring. Spins it around, soaps it down, pumps it up till it pops on the rim. Manuel's a one-man rubber and steel band, and hell, man, I can't tell Manuel's muscle from machine pneumatic. It's a frantic flat tire breakdown. Computer truant inside of all the bluing ain't included at the all-day tire shop. So Jose just stubs that tire right out to the curb. One end of the tire tool socket on the lug, the other end spinning on his nub. And he's got that tire on the ground in 2 minutes, flat. That's okay, because I heard Manuel say, your all-day tire is guaranteed to last all day.
You wanted to perform with music.
I did, but you can't hear.
It's not here yet? Well, I was going to suggest, hold up.
Okay, don't worry.
I was going to say, I know Janine said I'd be willing to go and then have more open micros, and you can come back for it. That's up with you. If that's up with you, if that's cool, then give Jim a big round of applause. No problem, because we're having a new crazy old format here. What do I need a microphone for? I'm loud enough as it is. Our feature said I could just go up now and then have more open micros. And I, in fact, just saw, I believe I saw Patrick Worley coming in. I see other, and they can come up after the feature is over, if that's all groovy and cool, and I don't know what she's pointing and doing. So the only way that I thought was an appropriate way to introduce her was to actually read something of hers that appeared, probably the first thing that I had published from her, which I believe she has this, but I had to read it anyway. I'm sorry if you were going to read this in your feature.
I didn't understand the first one. I thought you were going to read something.
This is right before your feature, my darling. I wanted to read this poem for the world and hear how, and you said it'd be fascinating to hear how somebody else would read it.
You read it.
So this is a Janine Ravisley poem that was published in the October 2011 magazine issue, volume 225, and it is called Spring and Not One Singing Bird, Sestina Variation. Spring and not one singing bird. Reader, the future is a naked branch. How can I help you? The receiver of this poem will hear nothing, just a certain calmness, like after a suicide, but before the corpse has been cut down. Before the corpse has been cut down, spring and not one bird. The air is calm, safe after a suicide. Reader, the future is a naked branch. You will hear nothing. How can I help you? I don't think I can help you before the corpse has been cut down. You will hear nothing, nothing, not even one single bird. Reader, the future is a naked branch. Everything will be calm, like after a suicide. Everything will be calm, like after a suicide. I doubt that I will ever be able to help you, because the future is a naked branch, and the corpse has not been cut down. It is spring, and not one bird. You will hear nothing. You will hear nothing, just a certain calmness, like after a suicide. You won't see one bird. I will not be able to help you. The corpse has not been cut down. The future is a naked branch. No future, just a naked branch. The receiver of this poem will hear nothing,
before the corpse has been cut down, just a certain calmness like after a suicide. I will never be able to help you. It is spring. There isn't one singing bird. No one can help you. The corpse hasn't been cut down. It is spring, and not one bird, just silence like after a suicide. The future is a naked branch. You will hear nothing.
On that one. So I really don't need to give this woman much of an explanation because I think everybody here loves her, and I believe everybody in the international world who gets to see her podcast and see her on YouTube loves her as well. I'm really looking forward to hearing what's going to come from this feature. So ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Miss Janine Ravaslut.
I'm going to have a chair delivered. Because I'm so lazy. I'm getting very old. I just finished writing Floating Worlds. It's a new book of mine. And it is for sale. And I think I would like to start with Espetos de Sardinas. We walk through the Paseo del Parque in Malaga. Date palms, plane trees, tropical shrubs, fountains, sculptures. Walk past old women who dust down whitewashed walls with small white rags. Not far, you say. I see it. The Paseo Maritimo, La Malaquita Beach, blonde sand imported from the Sahara Desert, beach bars, old sand-filled boats turned into barbecues. Sardines cook on skewers, sardines a la sal, whole sardines. We eat heads, eyes, tails, rub our hands on our bodies when we're finished. The stench of sardines linger on our fingers, arms, legs. The not unpleasant aftertaste of oil and salt on our tongues. How to describe it? Describe you. Your propped up right arm, exposed white breast resting on a beach blanket. The sun spinning like a net of caught fish just above the Mediterranean. Thank you. Thank you. The first part of this book is about Spain. And I was in Spain several years ago and really loved it. And I went there with a friend of mine and her family, and we stayed at the Marriott. And the father had Alzheimer's and the mother had MS. And so it was quite an experience moving through Spain with her family. And this is because he couldn't remember. The Marriott's Marbella Beach Resort. White marble floors, whitewashed walls, lush geranium gardens we can see from the balcony. 2 blue pools that shine like cat eyes in the sun. The sound of hola, hola as we exit the elevator, head for the car. The Autopista del Sol. Your father asking, who are you? Over and over, while lemon trees, blood-red soil appear, disappear in the convex rearview mirror. Thank you. So, this is titled Vanishing Points. It's in 5 parts. 1. There are no white delphiniums in this landscape, no paper whites, no white birch. All the pools are frozen over, and somewhere far off, a kind of geometry is falling from the sky, star or snowflake. No one will see it. 2. I press my lips against the window, kiss and kiss. A single row of vaporous roses bloom on the darkened glass, fade, disappear. 3. When you are beneath me, I am looking at the moon doubled in a tidal pool. 2 blue fish hang there, 2 stones caught in a web of silver mesh. 4. Nothing is here for very long. A net breaks, the moon goes behind a cloud. Everything escapes or is carried away like a corpse. 5. No moon, no shadows. Look, I never really existed. So, on a lighter note, trapeze, a quiet moment. I live inside of it. Tick-tock. The bedroom clock on the bird's eye maple chiffonier ticks back, stops. A stuffed squirrel with one torn ear drops a nut. A half-moon's poor imitation of a moonwalk exits behind a cloud. Languid stars smile wanly from draped lacquer beds. They're smoking angel dust. Hands behind my head, I stare up at you, at us, suspended there, midair. Cheyenne, Thai coffee, iced coffee. Forget its odd origins, wild brown hair that stands straight up from the coconut, its coarse brown skin that feels like dried out wood, its sweet white meat. Organic Kimon black tea leaves, star anise, ground tarramin, cardamom, 6 cups of boiling water, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of sweetened condensed milk, 1 cup of coconut milk. Sip your Thai iced tea through a straw while you twirl a miniature blue paper umbrella stuck on a toothpick between thumb and forefinger. You know the tea will keep you up, but you don't care. You'll stare at shards of light that race across the ceiling at midnight. Stare at morning light through the blinds. Stare at that photograph he sent from Thailand. The one with 3 stranded dogs on a wall surrounded by broken white icons. His scrawled words. Monsoon season. Such destruction. So I'm interested in foreign poetry, as my husband is as well, and we do triolets and cecilias, as you well know, and villanelles and so forth. And so this is called an imperfect triolet, and it is indeed imperfect, but imperfect in another way as well. So imperfect triolet. What was thought imperishable rots, rots like an antique kimono, my love. White, red, black, so peonies drop. What was thought? Imperishable rots. A harp, a bell clangs in hell, not my fault. And to think you once said I'll never leave. What was thought? Imperishable rots, rots, like an antique kimono, my love. So I was thinking about Sappho and her wonderful fragmentary poetry, and so I wrote Sappho in the time of the equinox. The mossy pond overflows, gaping carp twist in mud, bougainvillea, grape leaves, single white roses drop like handkerchiefs from their lines. And you walk among ruined portals, porticos, shattered columns. There are no brilliant frescoes dedicated to you here, no statues of Aphrodite, Artemis, Eros, no polished mirrors, dazzling reflections of yourself found in the other. Just you, a fragment among fragments, reading your poems in the rain. Thank you. How am I doing, Tom? Am I okay? Yeah. Okay. Love in the new year. I weave, paint, do all order of things. No more bottles of aspirin, sleeping pills. No more OxyContin mixed with booze, vomit on the bed. Just that downy voice when evening comes. But I can't jump in good faith now. He has me by the wrist, won't let me go down, down, down. Damn, this newest god with long blonde beard who holds me here another year. Damn, this dangling doll I once called me. So, everyone who writes, of course, talks about things that happened in their childhood. And so this is something that actually did really happen to me. Told slightly on the slant, but it's called Light on a Linden Branch. Light on a linden branch reminds you of snow, the kind that fell that other year when you were on all fours because you were about to paint a winter landscape for your mother. You remember the damp scent of white tempera, how it held onto the brush, how it slid across the cheap beige paper you were working on. Remember the sharp, bright peeps of the yellow finch before it dropped from its perch, died like sunlight at the bottom of the metal bird cage. So I did quite a few poems about my father, and this is titled Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse. There used to be a steakhouse in Chicago called George Diamond's, and it's quite famous. Recently burned down. But this is Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse. Off to the George Diamond Steakhouse, just the two of us, with mother sick in the hospital. Sometimes 3 times a week to dine on bowls of chilled lettuce wedges, the house's special pink salad dressing, char-broiled steaks cooked by the chef in the middle of the restaurant's dining room, a side of baked potatoes lathered with sour cream, butter, heaped dinner rolls in a bread basket, Coke for me, a dry martini with a speared raw onion for Dad, while Walter Keane paintings stare at us. My Mary Jane shoes hover above the soiled red carpet. One last drink. His Manhattan, a red cherry for me, a walk down Wabash Avenue at 9 p.m., the long ride home on the L. Us looking up at a few stars that remind me of the glowing eyes of those painted kids in black wood frames. So I think I'm going to do 2 more poems, and this is titled 24 Hours, and it's in 3 parts. Something is happening behind that window, but what? Perhaps a woman sits at a kitchen table, her hands neatly folded in front of her, like the good girl she used to be in all those grade school photographs taken in the 1950s. Perhaps a plastic Madonna stares back at her, the blue and white one with the delicate face and tiny feet she's coveted since she was a child. Her only inheritance glowing in the unbearable early morning light, too. 12 chairs in an emptied-out living room. Our mothers form a circle. They're going to finish a wedding quilt. Go out and play, they tell us. And so we sit in a field of milkweeds, feed a fallen baby blue jay worms, force its beak into water it will not drink, until dinner calls us home. 3. You are still in your diving suit, Father. I can't see your face behind the mask, but I know it's you on the beach among the jellyfish. You have just come out of the sea, or are going into it. You move across the sand like a weightless astronaut, and then you are gone. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, think that was loud enough. Please, ladies and gentlemen, get up one more time for Janine Harbison. And I've got my awesome gloves on, so I don't even clap so loudly. And she's right. This is awesome. I could just sit here and do stuff. And then I realized, oh my God, I've got all this money that I was going to give her, and I didn't get out my Crown Royal bag. And so I'm thinking I've got to be able to distribute this. And then probably people come up to me like, here's money. And I'm like, well, I haven't even collected for the bag yet. So now I'm going to have to pass this over to you. And then you're going to have to put money in the bag, and I'm going to hunt you all down. Every single one of you, because I know you want to give her money because that was an absolutely phenomenal performance. And if anybody has any interest in, say for instance, that poem, that I did probably a poor job of reading, Spring and Melon singing Birds Nesting a Variation, or I can't even remember the title of the other one. She's got this in a collection book as well as in the CC&D book. If anybody is interested, I've got discounted rates. You guys can grab a copy of her stuff along with a bunch of really, really cool poems from around the country, and some of them are from around the world. So I'd love it, and I've got this red box here, and I think this is Janine's. So,
That's mine.
yeah, and now that she's going to come up here, I'm going to say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, come on up one more time. Give it up for Janine. Come on, yeah. As I flaunt her books and stuff. So I know that I have a few people that wanted to be able to read again, and included in that list would be maybe Michael Hogue, maybe Patrick Curley, maybe Dave Getchigan, maybe, no, you weren't going to read anything, Paul Ryan, make me sniffy and sad. And I just see everybody walking away, so I can't even see who's coming up and available to read. So before I bring up, because I think he's going to be, Michael, would you like to come up, my love?
Oh, sure. Go for it.
Give it up for Mr. Michael Hogue. Yeah. If you like a seat, it's really convenient.
Oh, that was beautiful, Gene. I don't know if I can don't know if I can follow that at all. It's a beautiful word.
Thank you very much.
Oh, how about I do some nice things? How about this? With you, I like air. With you, colors matter. With you, fingers have a purpose. Knotted together, dropping like fish. Thumbs on knuckles, nails on palms. With you, sleep is important, finally. With you, I have new ways to smile, hundreds. With you, I forget numbers and the grades of wood and keys and locks, possessions and repossessions, tracks and fields. With you, there's something, 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 something. With you, life has hue. Oh, here's a nice little short one. Tears itch like sand, like talc, itch like lead-ass battery. Tears itch as they go, pouring down the nose, over teeth, drying the mouth, wetting the ears, down the jaw, off the chin, the back, the hips, the calves, getting socks wet. And wet socks itch like pin feathers, like numbers, numbers counting down, itching beyond scratching. All right, thanks.
And I'm running like a little crazy lady with the bag of money for the phenomenal feature. And as I said, I'm really enjoying this seat here. So before I call up the next open micer, I think it's always appropriate that I read the only poem that I have that might be appropriate for Dave Gatchik, and that would be my poem, Under the Sea. I'd like to be under the sea to watch the fish go swim. I'd like to squish a jellyfish and then let go of him. I'd like to grab a soft-shelled crab and take him for a walk. I'd like to hurdle over a turtle and teach dolphins to talk. I'd like to see a manatee and then go play by him. I'd like to do all of these things if only I could swim. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Mr. Dave Gatchik. Come on up here. You don't want a chair, do you?
I don't want a chair. Should I have a chair?
No, it was here, so I just always want to sit.
I'm in New Omaha. Is that okay?
Yay!
Whee!
Oh, Omaha, I love you for your plainness. I once knew a girl from Omaha. She was exotic, exciting, and somehow simple, somehow sexy in her simplicity. She was one of your lost children. I saw that girl the other day. She did not seem that simple anymore. Oh, Omaha, I love you for your black and whiteness. Oh, Omaha, I love the way your lights shine at night with no pretense or apology. I love how ugly you are and do not apologize for it. Oh, Omaha, I love you because I have not shared your taste, likes, or dislikes. And oh, Omaha, I love you because I can no longer enjoy the simple things that you are. It's not that simple anymore, and I am caught in the middle. It's not that simple anymore, and I can't enjoy the simple things. Oh, Omaha, I remember what I once was, and think of what you could have been to me. All this indecision in my life, it's such a waste of time. I can't really take it anymore. You see, it's only Omaha, and it's left or right, and it's black or white, and there's no shades of sadness or happiness in between in anything that you do. It's only Omaha. It either is or it isn't. It's either on or off. You turn the light on, you turn the light off, and if you want to leave it on, there's no reason to put dimmer switches in your life. It's only Omaha, and indecision does not exist here. No doubts. It's either on or off, left or right, dark or bright. Oh, Omaha, I will not measure out my life in coffee spoons. I will not debate eating a peach. I will swallow it or I will spit it out. I will digest it or I will shit it out. These are the rules. Oh, Omaha, the air is so clear here. Don't dim the lights for the neighbors. Don't dim the lights for anyone. It's pretty simple. It's black or white. They don't paint things gray in Omaha. Ambiguity has no address in this town. But tonight, oh Omaha, I am only on your outskirts. There is a stop sign and I come to a rolling stop. And oh Omaha, I want to run your yellow lights. Thank you, Janet. Who's featured next week?
Well, I was going to say, screaming about who was featuring for next week when he's actually coming up here. But in 2 weeks, Mr. Tom Roby is our feature next time. So you'll be able to catch that out in 2 weeks. But I wasn't going to call him up right now because we have somebody that's not a repeater for the open mic. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our senior Patrick Hurley. Come up here, my love. Woo! You need
Did you have a job interview today?
No, but I wanted to put on like a swirly skirt like Janine had on, which
I don't have a skirt on.
well, no, you have that awesome slit in your skirt thing, and you had gloves.
I know,
and I was
I
going
know.
for that. And I just totally just failed it everywhere, didn't I? I look like Morticia now.
You look nice.
Thank you, darling. Yeah, so do you.
Within the pages, I unfold before you, yet you refuse to turn the pages. My mystery lies within. It is nothing, nothing but a life, another self, like all others, like no other, resting in mud, waiting so patiently for discovery, and you are so patient.
Yeah.
An easy gesture. It's small, so small. A smile, a hello, a wave, a connection between you and them. Do they smile in return? Does it matter? Do they walk away with a sense of comfort? So easy a gesture could mean so much. Origami. A gentle kiss placed so delicately on your breast. Time lags, then races as your hand parts hair. Fresh air filling lungs as diaphragm distends stomach. We breathe each other in and in again. Origami art, folding limbs into beauty. Ennui. When is it time for tears? As hope shatters like fragile glass on a maple floor, happiness held in brief moments of compassionate embrace. Are tears permitted then, if they are for joy? Or must the levee be built higher, holding back the inevitable flood? Some minor release may be gentle and slow as a delicate February snow, covering the filth below with the illusion of white, clean newness. But this, too, melts, revealing the honest ground, worn by time, begging for rebirth, then finding it in the spring crocus.
Sure. One more.
Okay. So this was one if you've known me for a while, you know I lost my journal and had to go through the tapes or whatever things and was able to salvage something from the other journal. Sanctuary.
They called me God, made offerings and worshipped me. I laughed in their faces. They said they were naive. They said, surely you must be a god to laugh at us in such a way. They called me sage. Buddha returned and followed me to hear me speak, but all I said was gibberish. This is prophetic, they cried. The true meaning of life rests in your words. They called me pious and righteous, bowed before me on rugs, saying, truly Allah guides me, while I drank and smoked, entertaining their youth, wiping my feet on their rugs as if welcome mats. He comes to bless my sajada, they proclaimed, while whipping themselves. They called me omnipotent. I simply answered their questions with whatever came to my head. Truth or relevance played no part in my response, but that I responded was enough to be a genius in their eyes, so hungry for food. As I awoke, my head in a pool of blood, they proclaimed, he has risen from the dead. Surely you are divine. I said, dead? No. Passed out drunk? Yes. He has taken a spirit quest. We must follow, they said. Do as you like. Just remember the ground is hard, I said. The day came when they went away, saying, he is a false god, tricking us into subservience. He laughed in our faces, spoke in gibberish, smoked and then drank and bedded our women, filled our heads with lies, then off they went to follow another. At last, true sanctuary, I said.
And they leave me alone. That was awesome. Thank you very much. And I think I'm just going to do this tonight for anybody. If you're interested in Janine Ravaslut, that poem, which I might have read poorly or not, Spring and Not One Singing Bird, is available in this issue of CC&D. It's normally $7.87 and $4 shipping and handling. I'll give it to you for $5 if anybody wants it right now off of me. And this huge old book, Fragments, which is a collection book that has that piece of hers, as well as like a bazillion other pieces, $10 and it's yours. So come and bug me if you're interested, because she's awesome. So ladies and gentlemen, because she's awesome, I'm going to call up the man that's going to feature here in just two. Oh, what? He's got more. I forgot something. What did you forget?
I'm going to have a venue. I am working very hard on a venue. It'll be on the second and fourth Monday of each month. I'm hoping to start it in April. Facebook friend me so that I can update you when I get it.
Oh my gosh! Awesome!
It is a coffee shop with food and a full bar.
Can you give us an
and all ages. Not until I secure it.
I got it. Not until he knows about it. So yeah, friend of mine. Oh, that's awesome, and congrats. That'd be very cool. Definitely. But now that, he's trying to take the limelight from their feature, I'm going to have to get up for the man that's going to feature here in just 2 weeks. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hear a few more, and I'd like to hear a lot of screams for Mr. Tom Roby.
All right, so I'll try to read this in my Tom Roby voice. Dave and I were chasing after Tom Roby's voice, and
voice is deep.
yeah. Okay, so here's a triolet with a typical problem we all have faced. It's the starter problem. Late at night, traffic lights blink, stop, and go. Blank pages wait and park until too late. What's not done is not done, as well we know. Late at night, traffic lights blink, stop, and go. To start a rondo now seems much too slow. It won't be great at any rate by 8. Late at night, traffic lights, blink, stop, and go. Blank pages wait, in park, until, too late. Starter problem. Here, I'm just going randomly through these poems. Samsara in cyberspace. Not a typical problem, but maybe so. A blinking black cursor hops in place behind the glass of my computer monitor, comes and goes on the image of my blank white page with fake shadow edges. Blink, blank, blink, blank. Good eye exercise, not much of a poem. But look, here's a lost ladybug who snubs the agile cursor and heads down the glass. Her shadow travels calmly across the pixel pages tended by the cartoon of an office assistant in the person of a paperclip. Perhaps he can direct her to her place in this garden of icons. More likely, he'll divert her into the World Wide Web to research the entomology of aphids. I offer the edge of a failed draft printout, which she resists in that tentative way of creatures faced with uneven, unexpected textures. When she finally clings to the corner, I shovel her out through a rip in my window screen. The paper rattles in the breeze until the poised ladybug cocks her ruby shield, whirls her black wings, goes with the next gust. That's taken care of, I think, with a glance through the glass at the world of the saved. But look, she's back in a cloud of companions, blown black against the pane, trapped on 2 dimensions, yearning for the familiar leaf, crowding like a swarm of sorrows. Samsara. Okay, and finally, because I know we're running out of time and Jim has his musician here, I will give you Getting Through Gary. You can taste the rust on your tongue. I'll put that out again in case you missed it. Getting Through Gary. You can taste the rust on your tongue. Thank you very much.
I think I wrote a Twitter-length poem based on somebody screaming something at a show for Cousin Bones, or something, and some woman yelled out, "Oh, ugly babies need the most love." And so I wrote a response that said, "Oh, get your glasses, my love." And I said, "Ugly babies need the most love," I heard a woman say. And I just thought it was amazing that she was so willing to admit that her affections were so dependent on looks. you know, that wasn't it, but whatever. So ladies and gentlemen, whether or not he's got a musician, I hope he does, but I'm really looking forward to hearing from Jim. So Jim, my love, where'd you go? I can't see. There, that's Tom. Where's Jim? Yay, give it up for Jim. Come on up here, darling. Woo!
So does he need a guitar?
Okay,
Do you need a musician?
I got a musician.
Okay, well, I know you got one ready.
I don't know, but don't worry, I'll do another poem first while he's getting ready.
Do you mind if I set up over here?
No, set up.
While you do your thing?
Well, I'm waiting for my musician. I'm going to do another Chicago-based poem about the L. Just a minute. This poem is called Subway Crazy. I used to live at Damon and North and used to go to work downtown on the L, so this is a poem about one of my rides downtown on the L from Damon and North to downtown. It's called Subway Crazy. The train stops at Damon and North. The usual crowd comes in. Strangers, but I know each one.
The purple spike cat, the black-hooded punk, the blue-lidded lady looking for love between the satin red covers of a paperback novel. The clock punchers, the gum poppers, the gotta-get-to-workers, the couldn't-care-lessers, cardboard cutout sit-up straighters side by side with potato sack slouchers and window dozers, the up-and-coming back-to-back with the down-and-going, deeply flawed, bored, hollow-eyed, city-jaded. Strangers, but I know them all. The doors slide shut, the passengers settle in. Suddenly from somewhere an old woman starts up. She has something to share with the assembled passengers. She's raving on like an auctioneer, but her words make no sense. Startled faces turn her way, quickly turn away and tune her out. They've seen her before. They'll see her again. Just another subway crazy. Everyone's hoping the next stop's hers, but she cranks up the volume instead, and so do the headphone heads. But I become obsessed with her strange soliloquy, this chronicle of one possessed. I'm repelled, yet drawn to her ancient rhyme like a wedding guest. There's more to truth than well-formed phrases, and I'm not so sure she's just another subway crazy. Her skin's like shrink wrap on her hollow bones, hunched like a vulture in her seat, cawing like a macaw. There's something wrong, but I can't comprehend. I listen for a clue to the cause of her discontent, but her words are detached like floats of phrases in a parade with no theme. Her jaw is flapping loose beneath her face, creaking at the hinges like a junkyard shovel. She has a message, but I can't tell if it's death or resurrection, hope or despair, a call for repentance before a plague, or a parable in answer to a question no one asked. The train moves underground. Electric sparks flash in the tunnel wall. Something pops and the lights go dim, but this croaking crone drones on, reciting some proto-human litany, rocking in train time, chanting cross-legged before a fire in the darkened hut of her own mind, like a living remnant of some dispersed and long-forgotten tribe. There's something cold inside her skull, coiled like a viper in a long-sealed crypt, hissing an all-purpose passenger curse on this car of captive souls. Is she a steward witch returned from hell, or just another subway crazy, living down in tunnel land, where the mystical is often indistinguishable from the clinical? The train comes up into the light. She jumps another octave to the pitch of the squealing wheels, her ranting more urgent and shrill. She's a free-spinning turret of misfiring synapses, a fusillade of syllables. Her words scatter like a Scrabble game hit by a sound grenade. Then she falls silent. The others have left the car. We're the only two. She stills me with a lizard eye, as if it were I she'd plagiarized. I, a mocking mimic of my own little world of words. I'm a prisoner of syntax in my own brain cells, locked in logic. I'm a dilettante of lexicon, a poetic ape, tottering upright. One faltering neuron, one renegade gene away from blabbering brutehood. Who's to say an alien could distinguish hers from my own pointless tale of sound and fury? Who's to say? Thank you. Subway crazy. I'll do one more with my friend John Greenfield, who was a very good musician in town, a writer, a journalist, known him for a long time.
Is there anything I have to do to get the guitar going?
If I knew anything about how to set anything up. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We can hear it.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Well,
We can't hear Jim, but we can hear you. Jim's not talking.
That's more important. That's better. We've done this once before. We don't really practice a whole lot. We did okay last time, right, John? Okay, this is a southern-based poem. It's about Mississippi. It's about a trip I took down a biking trip along the Mississippi River. I ended up at a bar somewhere in Greenville or something. So John is we're going to do sort of a blues poetry thing. So John will start with some blues riffs, and we'll go from there. Yeah. Go, John. For those of you who are not familiar with southern geography, the Mississippi Delta spreads south. Clarksdale, Greenville, Yazoo City, Natchez. Spider, Illinois, hotter than West Texas, and the Delta sun, seeps into my pores and pours back out, and biking south of the Great River Road, trying to find a cool place. So I pull into the 82 Bar and Grill on the other side of Greenville, pause inside, let my pupils dilate. It's a murky roadside eddy, turning with white flotsam adrift of the lower Mississippi. Mid-afternoon slackers circle the pool table, poking each other's bellies with their sticks and laugh, and the bars lined with empties on both sides. I find a seat and order a beer, and she catches my eye in the bar-length mirror. But we both look away with the same thought. Too old for me. She's overdressed and perma-pressed, red and white from some blue light special, looking sideways as herself in the mirror, turning profile to profile and hanging on to a wisp of her bleached blonde hair like it was her last strand of hope. Fingers of her other hand stroking her face like biscuit dough, smoothing out the wrinkles. She's come to this roadside shrine looking for youth, but the only fountain here is flowing with Budweiser. Looks like she'll settle for that. Now watch yourself take a cigarette carefully from a leatherette accessory. And below, I see your lipstick smeared like strawberry stains on a faded magnolia. She opens up her matching compact, sees her makeup's wearing thin, gets up to go for another layer, but there's too much truth in the bathroom mirror. She's back at the bar again. Easier to face a neon simile of herself in her flattering clock light. She's a southern belle that somewhere fell through the crack between gentry and white trash. Lost her seat long ago in the game of small town musical chairs, but she's found it again, here, in his chrome-plated stool at the 82 Bar and Grill. The beer starts to do its work. Lines on her face begin to soften as memories of hot, fertile Delta nights along the levee flood in. But now the crop's gone to seed, and she can see she's just going through the motions in her mind, like an oil rig pumping a dry well. So she gathers up her accessories, heads for the door. Pool players pay her no mind. As she goes out, the door slams her silhouette against the back wall, and a slab of late afternoon sun, like the last empty frame of a bad slideshow. And I turn to my own reflection, see gray where black used to be, look away, finish my beer, go back out into the Delta sun. Greenfield, thank you, John. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry that we don't know anything about Sunday, but that sounded awesome. It sounded totally awesome. Thank you. I think a number of people like that. Thank you all so very much. Thank you. And I'll try to not yell into that. And I want to tell you all about upcoming features because we're here every 2 weeks from 7 to 9 p.m. In 2 weeks, on March 27th, we actually have Tom Roby as the feature, which is awesome, cool. Definitely. It's got April 10th with Cotton Campbell, who is this awesome reciter, and she's absolutely amazing. If you ever go to Poetry Love Letters for the likes of GPA, she is actually going to be featuring here, and on April 24th, GPA is going to be the host here. In May, I don't know, I can't see if Charlie Newman of Newark is here. Charlie Newman is the feature here on May 10th. Yeah, so applause, awesome. And then Newark, exactly. And I could go on and on about this list, but you can always find out information about what our upcoming features are at www.chaoticarts.org/thecafe, right here at the Cafe Gallery. Thank you all so very much, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you, and even more in just 2 weeks. Thank you.